The college football playoff format is broken. Over the last 2 years, since the 12-team playoffs were introduced, we've seen teams with a first-round bye go a combined 1-7, and it wasn't until the third quarterfinal of this year that we saw a team finally get a win, with Indiana beating Alabama in the Rose Bowl. Now, you can't have it where every year your teams with a first round of bye are at a significant disadvantage. You need to either expand the playoffs to 16 teams or shrink it down to 8 teams. And while it might seem like expanding to 16 teams is the way to do it, that way there's less teams that get left out, if you expand to 16 teams, you're always going to have a 17th team that thinks they should have gotten in. And I think we also have to ask ourselves, are there 16 teams that deserve to be in the playoffs every year? Probably not. Even with 12 teams this year, we had teams that really just shouldn't have been in the playoffs. Think JMU, Tulane, even Alabama, who lost a game against Florida State. They lost to Oklahoma, and then they lose in humiliating fashion to Georgia in the conference championship game. Did they really deserve a shot at the playoffs? Or even Miami, who is looking really good right now and is really hot at the right time, but really didn't look great in the middle of the season, dropping a game to Louisville and SMU, and games that the national champion should probably win. And with 16 teams, this problem gets worse. See, there's 2 ways you can do a 16-team playoff. One of the ways is by having all 10 conferences send their winner to the conference championship game. So the winner of the SEC, the winner of the Big Ten, the winner of the ACC, the winner of the Big 12, but then you also have the winner of all the Group of 5 schools. And while I think the Group of 5 should definitely have a shot to win it if they're one of the most deserving teams, I don't think that we should have auto bids for every Group of 5 winner. Then after your conference champion winners, you would take the 6 highest ranked non-conference champions to fill in the rest of the spots. And then the other way would be to do it the exact same way they do it now, where you take your 5 highest ranked conference champions and then the next 11 at-large teams, but I don't think there's 11 at-large teams that really deserve a shot at the playoffs. Had that happened this year, you would have Notre Dame, BYU, Vanderbilt, and Utah all get into the playoffs. But again, do any of those teams really deserve to be in the playoffs? Do they deserve a shot at the national championship? I don't think so. I think college football needs to ask itself a question. Do we want teams that are hot at the right time and being able to win a tournament because they are hot at the right time, even if they looked kind of shaky earlier in the year to win the national championship? Or do we want teams that look the best team all season long, playing each other for the national championship? I much rather would have the second, even if it means leaving teams that are looking really good right now, that are really hot right now, out of the playoffs. And that's why I think instead of expanding to 16 teams, college football needs to shrink the playoffs down to 8 teams. Now, before I explain the 8-team playoff to you, make sure to like and subscribe. If you like college football content, it helps me grow my channel. That way I'm able to give you guys more content and helps you get more college football content onto your feed. So it's really a win-win. And who doesn't love a win-win? So make sure to like, subscribe, share it to a friend, comment down below. Just get this channel going. Now, not only should we do an 8-team college football playoff format instead of 12 or 16 teams, but we also need to reintroduce divisions in these conferences. See, one of the bigger things that people aren't talking about with the college football playoff this year is that there were teams that were able to get into the college football playoffs because they only had 1 loss, and they hadn't really played anybody. Look at Texas A&M, who really didn't play anybody all year until they got to Texas, lost that game, but only had 1 loss, and you're not going to leave a 1-loss team out of the college football playoffs. But with divisions, that kind of goes away. Teams aren't able to duck teams by having an easy conference schedule. Look at this map of the SEC right now, where if we split it between the Western and the Eastern divisions like they used to have, Texas A&M would have had to play Texas, they would have had to play Oklahoma, they would have had to play Ole Miss, and we would have had a lot better idea of how good Texas A&M was instead of where we were this year. We also would have avoided having teams miss out on the conference championship game that probably should have been there because of the scheduling and the tiebreakers. Look here, we would have had that game against Alabama and Georgia really being a de facto division championship game earlier in the season, and we would have ultimately had Alabama and Ole Miss in the conference championship. And this conference championship game would have been absolutely huge because it would determine who gets into the playoffs. If we went to an 8-team college football playoff format, we would keep it how it is now. 5 auto bids to the 5 highest ranked conference champions. So in this case, this game is determining who goes to the college football playoffs from the SEC. And then with only 3 at-large bids, you're not guaranteed to make the playoffs just because you made the conference championship game. In this case, say Alabama loses to Ole Miss in the same fashion they lost to Georgia, they're probably not getting into the playoffs just because they made it to the conference championship game. Instead, we probably would have had Georgia go. Even though Alabama beat Georgia earlier in the season, they now just got beat bad by Ole Miss, and Georgia beat Ole Miss, the eventual conference champions, earlier in the year. So they almost certainly would get into the playoffs here. Then let's look at the Big Ten. Instead of having Ohio State and Indiana play each other in the conference championship game, and that game really not meaning a lot considering both teams are going to eventually get into the playoffs because they're ranked 1 and 2, we would have had Ohio State and Indiana play each other in the regular season. In which case, say Indiana still beats Ohio State in the regular season, we have Indiana and Oregon making it to the conference championship game. And the winner of that game making it to the college football playoff. Say Indiana beats Oregon in that game, then the committee has a decision. Do you take Oregon, who just lost in the conference championship game, or do you take Ohio State, who lost to that same team, just not in the conference championship game? And ultimately, it's going to come down to who had the better loss when they played Indiana. Did Ohio State lose by more points? Did they put up more points? Did they allow more points? Same thing for Oregon. And so with these divisions in an 8-team playoff, you end up having this situation where the conference championship games are de facto playoff games. If you win it, you're automatically going to be put into the playoff. But if you lost it, you're risking not getting into the playoffs. So these conference championship games are really the first round of the playoffs, and they mean a whole lot more than they do now. We also have regular season games that matter more than they do now. Ohio State and Indiana meeting up in the regular season to determine who goes to the conference championship game, where Alabama and Georgia playing in the regular season to determine who makes it to the conference championship game. Instead, we had Alabama and Georgia play each other, Alabama win, and then both teams still get into the conference championship game, ultimately making that game pretty meaningless in the grand scheme of things. And for those two reasons alone, meaningful regular season games and meaningful conference championship games, going to 8 teams is a better format than we have now. Then not to mention that every game in the college football playoff should theoretically be closer because you're not having teams sneak in that really have no business being in. It also requires teams to be good throughout the entire season instead of just getting hot at the right time and making a run in the playoffs. But I know that this format may not be the most popular, so let me know in the comments down below if you hate this format or if you absolutely love this format and think it's something that we should go to. And make sure to like and subscribe, share this video, send it to a friend, tell a friend about it. Like I said, this really helps my channel grow. All of these likes, impressions, shares, comments, helps my channel grow, and really I want to grow my channel as big as I can so I can give you guys more college football content. I'm someone who loves college football, have loved college football my whole life, and really just enjoy talking college football. So if that sounds like something you'd like, make sure to subscribe, share this channel. Let's get this channel going.